Welcome to Kevin Richards VIPs. My guest today is a fascinating, inspiring young man with an incredible passion for this community after taking on many of life's struggles. My guest is Jason Helmond. So I'm sitting here with my new friend at the McLaren Arts Center here in downtown Barrie. Jason, thank you so much for being my guest today. It's really great to meet you and finally sit down with you. I see you in some of the media stuff around town. You're so busy and you're so inspiring, and we're going to sort of unpack all of that stuff here in a minute. But I want to ask you first, we're in the McLaren, which is an absolutely amazing place in downtown Barrie. So why did you choose the McLaren as your happy place for today?
Well, because I have a passion for art and pictures and painting and drawing. Yeah.
So do you like to do photography, or
yeah.
you like to painting, or what are your favorite things to do?
Because I have two cameras. Yeah.
And what sort of stuff do you like to do? Landscape or people or just everything?
Just everything and anything. I have a friend who's in photography as well, so.
Cool,
yeah.
cool. So the McLaren's a pretty awesome place.
Yes, it is.
They do a lot of charity stuff around town, and we're going to unpack a lot of the charity stuff that you do too. But first I want to get to know you, because you're just this wonderful energy, right? And you're like a squirrel on Red Bull at certain times. You just got this motion, and you're calm down so easily, and I'm fascinated by you. So I want to know, first of all, tell me where you grew up. Did you grow up in Barrie?
Yes, I grew up here in Barrie, and my family it has been around, and yeah.
Okay, so where'd you go to school?
I went to Eastview.
All right, good school. And
Yeah.
where'd you go before that?
I went to Steel Street.
I'm an old Steel Street kid, so I remember Steel Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how'd you like that?
I liked it very much.
Yeah, now that's a very welcoming community, the old East End.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you when your mom and you decided that this was going to be your school? Did you have any struggles when you first got into school? Because let's be honest, there's an obvious disability that we've talked about, or what people might consider a disability, which may become a little less obvious today from our conversation. But tell me a little bit about what that was like going to school.
The first day when I first walked into Steel Street, I was like, okay, this is going to be the start of something new, and I thought it would be really cool to be with all my friends, and yeah.
And so how did you make those friends? Were they friends you had before you started school? Were they from daycare?
Well, some of them were, like CJ, Gordy, and my friend that I grew up since kindergarten, Aaron Stefanik, and
all right,
yeah.
Cool. So you start school, and there's now a public aspect of it where there are more parents and there's more kids. Did you find that there was some, I wouldn't call it turbulence, but maybe some friction, some things that were just difficult maybe to deal with when, maybe they want to put you in a special classroom or things like that? Did you have issues with that?
Not at first, but they wanted me to be in a segregated school, and my mom fought, and finally he said it's time to let Jason be in a regular class. Yeah.
And so how did that feel? Did you want to be in a segregated classroom, or did you want to be with the other kids?
I'd rather be with other kids, but not in a segregated class.
Okay.
And I made the paper for tearing off the labels, and
okay.
Yeah.
So let's sort of give a little expose on this first too then. So you've got Down syndrome.
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to people, because a lot of people don't get it. They just go, oh, he's handicapped, or they drop that terrible R word that I can't stand, right? Which we're not even going to say it because it's such a terrible word.
Yeah.
But there are people who like to just paint a picture that this is who that is, and they're automatically tagged that. Can you tell me a little bit about what Down syndrome is?
Well, the R word was supposed to be not in a dictionary at all, because it's about people, and they were saying things that they shouldn't, and we need to drop the R word, and yeah.
So tell me a bit about Down syndrome then. So what is it? It's an extra chromosome on your 21st chromosome.
Yep.
Right? And so that gives you what? What are the results of having Down syndrome?
Well, having Down syndrome, it can be a challenge at times. So yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask people who are watching the show to spread the word too, to not use that R word. People tend to use that R word in some of the most annoying ways too. They'll say, oh, this whole thing is that. And you just think, what a terrible use of that word.
Yeah.
Right? So let's talk about the challenges you've had. Did you ever get any bullying?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to that first. What was the bullying like? Where was it? Public school, high school?
Well, first of all, I won't list names, but
No, good.
But I will say that whatever they did, was it nice? That we all have feelings, and those feelings can get hurt.
Okay. Now, not that I want to get into it too much because some of it might be terrible, but what were some of the things, or even one that really stood out that was probably one of the most painful things somebody
Well, how about grabbing a phone and hanging it up on your grabbing a phone and putting it back up and hanging it up on your grandmother?
So you were on a conversation and somebody grabbed the phone from you and hung it up?
Yeah, because I was talking to my grandmother at one point, and this guy, I won't say the name, grabbed the phone and hung up on me.
Okay. And so did you ever get pushed around or anything like that? Did you ever have people name call you?
Well, I had one that caused sticks and stones, break my bones, but names don't hurt me.
Yep. It's a good old motto.
Yep. And the other things that they have done is kick me, spank me, pull my hair. And the one girl, I won't say her name, has been saying that repeatedly, and it really bothers me, and yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that you've been through that because I think that kind of bullying is just out of ignorance, and I think some people are silly, and sometimes people have to look back and not to forgive a bully necessarily, but it is to understand a bully and think, well, maybe they're going through something at home that makes them feel they have the right to do something to somebody.
Exactly.
So, and then of course they don't understand you maybe, so they have a difficult time, and that's how they communicate, and it's kind of sad, right? So when we look at you going through school, what were your favorite subjects? What were your favorite things to do?
Well, I love computers.
Okay. Computer what, like games or computer design or typing or?
I just love like Excel. I'm not really good with Excel, but I know how to use it. I'm really good at PowerPoint.
Cool.
And yeah.
So the whole Microsoft spread, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's a good skill.
Yes, it is.
Now, did you learn that in school, or was that something you just?
Yes, I learned that in high school.
Okay. Now, when you got into high school, at what point, or maybe it was before then, so let's sort of get into the whole charity aspect, and when people are realizing that you have this huge heart. So, because you do. And so let's talk about that. When did you start to volunteer for the first time? Was there an event that you thought maybe you'd like to be a part of this? Was it as a child? Was it something maybe you saw your family do? Where did that first spark come from?
Well, I started in high school with doing the Terry Fox run and stuff, and also adopting a park with my one teacher.
You adopted a park?
Adopted a park. It's adopted a park certificate I received. So.
And so what happens? You take over a park and you keep it clean, or what is it?
Yeah, we keep it clean and stuff.
Which park?
I can't remember which one.
Okay.
But yeah.
But that's cool. So then did you bring in other people to come and help keep the park clean, or was it just you and the teacher, or who was it?
It was a bunch of other students in the same class that I was in.
Yep.
It was life skills.
Cool.
So yeah.
So when you start doing this park, do you start to get a feel for the environment and you start to want to do things like that? Or what was it after that?
That's when I got my inspiration on how can I give back to the community.
Okay. So, and that's such a great thing because there are people, and again, not to talk about a special aspect of you, but you are special because you've got this heart, and so many people are sitting on their couch going, yeah, I really wish I could do more, but they're not doing it, and here you are, just doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, what's something else that you got into that your next big project or something you really got inspired by?
I got inspired by my two grandfathers who died from cancer. One of my grandfathers died from 3 primary cancers.
And how recent was that?
It was done on May 1st of last year.
Okay, so 2017.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other one, my mom's father, who died back in 2003, died from liver cancer.
So you've had this inspiration to do stuff to help cancer based on two people who are very close to you.
Yeah.
And you were close to them?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So that inspiration kicks in, and you start to realize that anything that might come out to cancer is important to you.
Yes.
So what was your first project that you wanted to get involved in?
Well, the first head shave I did was for a mission trip for Nicaragua.
Oh, let's back this up because this is a head shave. So what was the event? You had to shave your hair.
Yes, and the first time I did it was for Nicaragua.
Okay.
Because my sister was going on a mission trip to it.
Okay.
That's the first time I did the head shave.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, how about I do another head shave and do it for cancer? So I decided to do that and launched in 2016.
Wow, you're going to start having short hair for a long time
Yeah.
because you're going to keep doing these head shave contests.
Yeah.
All right, so the one for cancer, where did that one come from?
It came from the loss of my grandfathers
Okay,
and because of Terry Fox.
because of Terry Fox. Okay, so you then what? You fundraise, you go around and you knock on doors and ask people, or you go through social networks, or?
I actually use I use Facebook and I go to make phone calls to the newspaper companies, the radio stations.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's some great support too, especially if you start to network like that.
Yeah.
So let's go through this too. You did the polar bear jump too,
Yes, I
didn't
did
you?
a polar plunge.
Man,
Yeah.
that's cold.
Yes.
Yeah, now how was that?
Well, the first year I did last year was the water was -2.
-2?
Yeah.
Well, it's not too bad. It's been colder. -2 is still better than,
Yeah.
still not as bad.
But it's still cold. So when you take that first dive in the water and it's like that
Shock.
rush of the coldness going to your head, it's like, oh, whoa.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole different brain freeze, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what was that charity for?
That was for Special Olympics.
Okay.
And yeah.
So let's talk about the Special Olympics a little bit because you volunteer with that. And I love watching the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And not in a goofy way, but it is so fun to watch. Because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I've seen it where the starter lets the pistol go. And who knows where everybody's going, right?
Yeah.
Some people may finish. Some people may be in the lead and they'll come back and help somebody.
But the motto of Special Olympics is let me win. If I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Yeah, and that's a great model. So say
Yes,
that
it
again
is.
for me because I think people need to hear that better. Say that
Yes.
again.
Let me win.
Yep.
If I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
And that's a great motto, even for life.
Yeah.
Right? So when I watch the Special Olympics, I see so many beautiful people. And
Exactly.
now, I learned recently too, well not recently, a little while ago, about huggers.
Yeah.
So there's huggers at the end of the races of some of them, right?
Yeah.
So, and tell me a bit about that. Are you familiar with it?
Not really.
Okay, so what these huggers are is when people run their race, there are people at the end who will be there to hug them.
Yeah.
To cheer them on and tell them how brave they were and for being a part of the event.
And then they give that person a hug.
Then they give them a hug.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So, what have you done with the Special Olympics? Have you competed or have you volunteered? Or
Well,
what
I
have you done?
did both actually. I'm a multi-sport athlete.
Okay, so tell me about some of the sports you've done.
I have done swimming, bowling, track, golf. I used to do bocce.
So you do all kinds of different things.
Yeah, I also ski and do curling as well.
Okay, and what are your favorite events to compete in?
The favorite ones are bowling and skiing
Yeah.
in Collingwood.
Can't do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
No. So, so bowling, you like bowling?
Yes.
Now, do you ever volunteer with maybe some of the Big Brothers bowling events or other things like that around town? Because there's another spot, because
Yes,
since you're not doing anything,
yeah,
since-
it's called Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah, and do you ever
Yeah.
get involved in that?
Well, I'm hoping to get involved in that a little bit more.
Well, I hope that they're
Before
watching.
I wasn't.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, I think you'd have a lot of fun with it because they're a great community, great crowd too.
Yeah.
So the skiing, do you do it in Collingwood?
Yes, I do it in Blue Mountain.
And where was the last place you competed?
I had a race this past Sunday
Oh, really? Where?
on Blue Mountain in Collingwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what was that? Was it moguls? Was it just down the hill? Was it?
I do it with Special Olympics again, and I do it with a one-on-one coach. His name is Don.
Okay.
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And so when you volunteer with the Special Olympics, what are some of the things you volunteered and done?
Well, the things I have done is I have volunteered for the MS,
Okay.
for multiple sclerosis. I did the bike tour, and also the walk, the MS walk at one point.
Now tell me about the bike tour.
Well, the bike tour is for multiple sclerosis, and my father lost an aunt to MS, and her name is Aunt Margaret.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
So when you are looking around at charity events, what else are you involved in? Because I'm on the tip of the iceberg right now with the things you do. So just sort of slowly tell me some of the things that you enjoy doing charity-wise, or that?
Well, I
what else
basically, as you can tell, I do a head shave for cancer.
Yeah.
I have received 2 awards, and I was involved with Scouts Canada for Haunted Haven, for Halloween.
So you're not exactly shy in the community to get out and do stuff.
And I do it at the Simcoe County Museum.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what would be your idea of something coming up that you're looking forward to other than the head shave? Are there other events coming up that maybe you want to be a part of, or things that you'd like to do on your own?
Well, I'm also the mayor's ambassador as well.
The which?
The mayor's ambassador.
Mayor's ambassador, okay.
For my recent trip that I did to England that I did last year.
You did a trip to England for what?
I did with my mom's choir.
Oh, so you
That's
sing.
another thing. I also usher for the King Edward Choir, which is what my mom is in.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah.
That's a beautiful choir.
Yes, it is.
So-
very beautiful.
I love choir music.
Same here.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's one of those things that, much like you, can be
Yeah.
inspiring.
Well, the
Right,
other
it's-
thing that inspires me is my mom.
So tell me a bit about that relationship with your mom then. Tell me about what it's been like with a great mom.
Well, first of all, she's a great mom, and I love her.
Yeah.
She has supported me in my life, and she has always been with me. She is the first mother that I ever loved.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about your mom then. What is it that she does, do you think, the best?
Well, she is the best.
But what does she do the best for you? Is she a hugger too? Is she affectionate? Is she funny? Does she?
She's all of them. She's all of the above.
That's great to roll all that up, because
Yeah.
if somebody's there in a supportive way,
Yeah.
I know that there's kids out there who don't have great parents, but they still love them
Yeah.
unconditionally. But you've got a mom that you just love because
Yeah.
she's right for you.
And she's here today as well.
I saw that, and that's awesome. I'm glad she's here.
Yeah.
So when you think of your happy places, it was funny because when we were trying to decide on the McLaren, I said, where do you want to go? And you said the Market Buffet. And they weren't available for us at that time, for this time. But what's unfortunate is there's a really great restaurant. And then I
Yes.
said, what else makes you happy? Not a restaurant. And then you said the Mandarin, and then you said a couple of restaurants around town. And I kept laughing because every place that seems to make you happy involves food.
Yes.
I'm an eater too. I love good food. If somebody said that I was
I
going to a
love
restaurant,
food and drinks, and yeah. That's one thing that makes me happy is food.
so it's so
Yeah.
funny that now we're here at the McLaren. So when you think about then other people around you who have inspired you,
Well, my sister
your sister, tell me a bit
also
about that.
inspired her. Well, she also worked at Red Line Brew House.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great beer.
Yes,
Okay.
great beer, great beer.
Yeah, but great people, great atmosphere, great,
Yeah, great
business for Barry.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does she do to inspire you? Does she just
Well,
keep you motivated?
because of she's been my sister for a long time. She was born in 1994, and
Yeah.
I loved her,
Cool.
and I still do, and I just want my baby. She's not a baby anymore, but she's still
Your
my
baby
baby
sister.
sister.
No, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And every time I go anywhere, like any friends of my sister's is a friend of mine because she also inspires me that way.
Well, and I think that comes from trust.
Yes.
And now something that I know only because my mom had volunteered with the Adult Rehabilitation Center here in town.
Yeah.
And I got a little familiar with a few people around town here and there. And one thing that I have realized about some people with special needs are they're very trusting.
Yeah.
Does that ever work against you? Do you find that maybe you trust people and then you get hurt?
No, I trust
Good.
them with my life.
And that's really cool because I think the world could use more people who just
Like
trust.
my friend Colin McDonald, who I'm doing the head shave with, the Barry Mayor, Jeff Lehman.
Who's a great mayor.
Yes, and I seen the interview that you had with him, and yeah.
He's a character too. He's much like you, where he's got this incredible ability to want to be in the community.
Yeah, and he brought so much to this community, and that also inspires me as well.
Yeah. Well, again, I think what Jeff and you have in common is heart,
Yes.
right? That you guys love what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a bit about something else too, because you said that you watched one of my shows and there was somebody else who inspired you.
Yes.
And who was that?
Zach Hofer
Yeah.
from Zach Makes Tracks.
Zach Makes Tracks. And I think that's only phase one, because I think he's up to something else too. He'll be doing something else big.
Yeah,
You'll
he
watch.
hopes to see Ellen, and his dream is very large about seeing her, and I even like Ellen myself, so I'm
do you?
hoping to be on her show as well.
So when you're kicking around then and you're just at home,
Yeah.
what is it you like to do? Do you like to watch Ellen?
Yes, I usually watch it at 10 o'clock with my mom, and yeah.
Well, she's pretty cool. And again, another person with big heart, right?
Yeah.
So what is it you do then when you are doing your time? Like the just Jason time? Like when you're not painting or drawing, what is it you really enjoy doing? What are some of your favorite things to do?
Well, my favorite things I like to do is basically being involved in the community, doing things for the community,
Yeah.
and looking out and admiring other people like Zach Hofer from Zach Makes Facts, the Barry Mayer,
Yeah.
getting the supportive work from the King Edward Choir, my mom's choir, and yeah.
So you really don't take time for you,
No.
other than you basically exist
Yeah.
in a world where you want to just do great things.
Yeah.
And that almost blows my mind in a
Yeah.
sort of a funny way, because there's a lot of people like I said, there's people who are just sitting there on a couch going, I really wish I could do that. Get up and do it. You're doing it. And I really hope that they get inspired by that.
Yeah.
So what would be some of your other struggles, though? Let's talk again. And I hate coming back to that because I don't like bringing it up, but I do want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So what sort of struggles have you had as, a young man now? You're in the world, are you working? Have you had a difficult time working?
Well, I have 2 jobs. I
Okay.
work at South Street Burger in the South End.
Oh, good spot. Good burger.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also Eastside Mario's.
Nice spot,
On
too.
Bayfield.
Okay, great. So now, do you have difficulty at work? Because let's be honest, there are some people who may not, want you serving food. They might want you sweeping or whatever. Do you feel that you get stereotyped or that you get put into a box?
Not at both of those jobs.
Cool.
No.
Well, that comes from good management and good employers and good owners,
But
right? Now, sometimes though, do you find that maybe it's just about education and that those places can turn back around?
What I want to do is to educate other people to get involved in their community.
Yeah. Now, do you have, and I'm trying to word this without it sounding weird, but do you have other friends like you that have experienced what you've experienced or have the same Down syndrome? Do you have friends like that?
I do have friends who have Down syndrome.
Okay.
I have a friend I've been with since 2003.
And do you find that they also, have that passion to do things, or do you find that they're more themselves?
Well, basically, that they are more capable of doing things, and that we don't have a disability. We have an ability.
Okay. And there was an old TV show called Facts of Life.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever saw that show.
No.
Okay, well, I'm a lot older than you. So that show, there was a girl in there named Blair, and she had muscular dystrophy. And her quote was, I don't have, how did the quote go? I don't have an inability, I have an ability, right? And
Yeah.
she wasn't handicapped, she was handy-capable. And I think it's what you get handed and how you work with it.
Yeah.
Right? So what would you say are your best strengths when it comes to, actually, no, I'm gonna ask you your weaknesses. What would you say is your biggest weakness when you wanna go and help people? Do you get too emotionally involved, or do you?
Well, at some point, I do have my own set of rules. One of my rules is don't get personally involved in something that you shouldn't.
Boy, some people need to mind their business too, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Anything else like that go into your rules? What are the rules?
Well, my other rules are, the big one is, if you are capable of doing things, you can do things that you can put your mind to.
Okay. And that's great, because people could put their mind to a lot more things, I
Yeah.
think, right? So then what would you say are your strengths? What are some of the best things about you that you love about you or that you're happy with?
Well, my biggest strength is my father and my mom. Yeah.
But what about you personally? I love that you love your mom and your dad, and that's
Yeah.
very cool, because
Yeah.
I know what that's like. Not
Yeah.
everybody's that lucky. We're pretty blessed to have
Yeah.
that. Now, what's it like for you, Jason, that you just go, you know what? I'm really good at this, and I'm going to do this today, or I'm going to make this difference. What is it about you that you believe is your strength?
My biggest strength is my head shave for cancer.
But as a person, what is your
But
best
as a
strength?
person,
Yeah.
I feel like I can do more than just that. I could help educate other people about Terry Fox.
Cool. So you feel that you can do more to share with the world, to educate, to bring people more involved.
With Terry Fox.
Okay. What would you like to see more of in
What-
the city of Barrie? What would you like to see more of?
What do I want to see more of Barrie?
Yeah.
Well, just everything that the mayor has done is very inspiring.
Yeah.
We have lots of things involved here in Barrie.
Yep.
Like we have a McLaren Art Center where we are.
Yep.
We have City Hall
Yep.
where the mayor is.
But is there anything that you think the community needs better? Do you think that we need to be more aware of any sort of special needs, or do you think that we need to be more aware
Well, for
of?
people with Down syndrome and,
Okay.
and people with special needs and disabilities, I think I could do more than I can bring that into this community. That's what I want to do as well.
It's funny because there's a funny saying about, we're all crazy if we think that just because M&Ms are all different colors that they're any
Yeah.
different, right? So yeah, we're all different colored M&Ms, but we're all the same.
Exactly.
Really, at the end of the day, and you're
Yeah.
crazy if you think otherwise. 'Cause-
Yeah.
And so what would you say then to people who are watching about you and your Down syndrome? What would you like people to understand?
Well, the people that I want people to understand about people with Down syndrome is keep talking, keep spreading the word about people with Down syndrome. It's great that we have a special chromosome and we have our own. For people with special needs and disabilities, they are more than welcome to go to the Camp Hill store that we have here in downtown Barrie.
What's it called?
Camp Hill.
Okay.
I also have a friend who goes to Camp Hill. Her name is Chloe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about your message to not just the city of Barrie, but the people, just people, do you have a message for them? What is your one thing that you think people need to know, or that you live and love by?
Well, that would be my one special message is, well, a couple of them is the mayor, Jeff Neiman,
Yeah.
and the two local MPs, John Bizard and Alex Nettle,
Yeah.
and also my friend Hannah,
Yeah.
who works in the office
Yeah.
for John Bizard.
So your message is there, it was about people, but let me ask you this, because we're kind of getting near the end of the show here, and I want people to understand that you have a message. What is your message for people with Down syndrome, for people without, just for the world? What is your message of love that is, your inspiration?
And that is love, Love, all capital letters.
All capital
Love.
letters. And that's a bold way to put things.
Yeah.
So, Jason, I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and I think that we only scratched the surface of you, and I would love to talk to you again sometime. And I think you're amazing and inspiring, and thank you for everything you do for the community, and for your mom, and for your dad, and for everybody around us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.